everyone. It's so good to have you today. Thank you for joining in to Recovery in Action. And today we're doing something a little different on our show. We always are talking about people in recovery, and but we really don't ever talk to the families of the people that are in recovery. And so this month we're going to really get some information on people on how how it has affected their lives, what they've had to go through, and what they're going through now. Because substance use disorder does not only affect the person that is using drugs at the present time. It affects their children if they have children. It affects their parents. It affects sisters, brothers, different people. So we just need to be aware that this is an ongoing issue, and it's something that I want you to hear from the people themselves about how it has affected them, and to let you know you're not alone. There are ways of, there's actually there's a group that's getting ready to get started. I will have more information about that on our next show. But I want you to understand that you're not alone, and that we pray continuously for you and your loved ones. It's an ongoing prayer. It's an ongoing concern, and we care, and we want to help people recover. That's why we have had the House of Ruth for over 11 years now, because we genuinely want to help. We want to see women reunited with their children, with their families, with their loved ones, and we want them to succeed and have success. Alicia, she is one of our guests today, and we're so proud of her. She just got her bachelor's and from Indiana Wesleyan, and she's actually going for her master's. And she has been affected with substance use disorders in many different ways, and we're going to talk about that. But she is just one that decided not to go that route. We have Kathy here today. She has lost 2 children to overdoses. We have Jasmine here today that is going to talk about how in her life, in her family and friends, that has been affected by substance use disorders too. So I want to introduce to you today Jasmine Campbell, Alicia Wedding, and Kathy Legier. And of course, I'm Sharon Cranfield from the House of Ruth. I'm the founder and executive director. And so what we're going to start with is, I think we will start with Alicia, since she has just completed her bachelor's, and like I said, she's getting ready to start on her master's. But you haven't always been where you're at today. And how has your family and friends affected you, even as a child, as a young child? We were talking earlier today. I mean, as a young child, you know, how you felt and how it has took you to what you're doing today.
When you're a young child, you don't really realize so much that your family's different from other families until you start getting older. I mean, it's little things like you can't go stay at other people's houses, other people can't come to your house, things like that. But then as you get older, you kind of start getting the anger because you realize that your family's different. Mm-hmm. And then the anger finally, for me anyway, gave way to wanting to help other people and not wanting that for my own life. So,
absolutely, because, I mean, and like you said, when you're young, that's just how life is. Mm-hmm. You don't know any different until you get older, and then you see other people's lives and maybe go to their homes then as you get older. And then, and like you said, and now you're actually a recovery coach. You just got your social work and your bachelor's in social work. You're working at Recovery Works, helping people. Tell us a little bit how that has brought you into What changed your mind that you decided that's not the route you were taking?
Just seeing the struggles my family's had, and it's no way to live.
No.
It's miserable.
And the anxiety. I know that we talk about that a lot because the anxiety that you have now.
Yeah.
And it's, the being around a lot of people,
Yeah.
even coming to this show today. So it's one of those things, people don't realize the effect from a child to even to this day
Yeah, it stays with you.
that it has stayed with you. Absolutely. But now you're so passionate about helping people with the substance use disorders and the people that you've been talking with and working with and helping them and mentoring them. I mean, it has to make a difference now.
I mean, it's kind of what my life's all about now. It's, like you said, it's my passion.
And you've been at the House of Ruth now for like 4 years.
6.
Is it 6
Yeah.
years? Oh my goodness, I was thinking 4, yeah. But 6 years and you've just started interning when you came there and I mean the girls just love you. And you've been such an important part of the House of Ruth and that's what happens when you really have a passion for what you do, and Alicia does. I mean, it makes a difference in how you treat people and how you are yourself. And I think it's had somewhat of a healing for you.
It does.
Yes, being able to work with people and see success.
Yeah.
And to be able to mentor and help and just be a part of their lives. It has to be, like we said, a healing process. And that's what we all need, especially when we have been broken anyway. So Kathy.
Yes.
And I know, she said, don't get me crying, but you know what? Kathy has been through a lot, and she's doing the same thing. She's giving back. She has been with us almost 4 years.
4 years,
At the House of Ruth, and we love her very much. She is, she does wonders with the girls, and so just tell us a little bit about your journey.
Mm-hmm. It really took me in a different direction because it led me to the House of Ruth, whereas I could help the girls. My son has been gone for 12 years. My daughter, it's been 8 years. And I felt like I was alone, like you said. I didn't really know how to get help or get a connection to help me. And I'm learning now that we're slowly getting people a little bit of attention that, as far as families, that can help them to understand that you're not alone. Because I became a mother of an addict, which is not something you want to be.
Right.
And then in turn, I also, instead of being grandma, I became mom.
And to your
With my
grandchildren.
grandchildren, yes. So that's really, it was all just a life changer.
Yeah. And you actually, both of your children passed away from overdoses.
Yes.
And we were talking before we came actually into the studio, and we were talking about years ago when your children or your loved ones were in, your husband, whatever it would be, you really didn't have a lot of places because people were ashamed.
Exactly.
You didn't want people in the community to know, oh my God, my husband uses, my kids are on drugs, and people, they didn't know how to ask for the help. And we were talking, had you knew now and had the support and things that you do now, the difference.
Could have been different.
It could have been different. And that's the reason that we're doing this show, is because there is help out there. There are people that care, and there's people that's going through exactly what you're going through. And people that have suffered, people that are just, they're just discouraged. And people, they talk about how horrible things are. Things are not, I don't want to say things aren't that bad in your life, but things have gotten a lot better in our community because we do have support groups, we do have meetings, we do have people that care, we do have people that are trying to make a difference in our community. But sometimes reaching out is the hardest thing for us to do. You know, Jasmine, I mean, you had to be arrested to really, you know, realize what you needed to do. Tell us a little bit about your journey and how, because we were talking, you have not always done things wrong.
I started using drugs when I was 14 and I was on meth. And then I started using heroin around 16 and I've overdosed at 17 and I got sober for about a year and overdosed again, and then I got arrested when I was 18 years old and I was in jail for a year and got out on drug court, and now I'm 21 and still on drug court. But I've been sober for 2 years actually this month. My family are all recovering addicts, and some of them are still in addiction to this day. I can't name one family member that isn't an addict in my family. And I remember when I was younger thinking I wasn't going to be like everybody else, and I despised them, like didn't want to be like them. And one time my friend had drugs around me and I just wanted to try it, and it took an hour for me to change my mind. So
Yeah. And in that 1 hour, and that's where people don't realize you didn't wake up one day and say, oh, I think I'll be an addict today.
No.
I think I'll lose my family, my kid, you know, everything. It's a process. And like you said, I mean, you were mad
yeah,
because the people around you used drugs. And then in 1 hour going to a friend's house, you know, the decision was made that you were going to, and then the journey has just went on from there.
yeah,
And that's where people don't realize, you know, your friends even, you know, it was probably just a good time, they're thinking at that time. And then look how your life has been devastated ever since.
absolutely.
Yeah. So and lots of times, you know, people say, well, you know, the police did this and police did that. Had you not got arrested, where do you think you would be?
I would not be sober today, I know that.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that I did get arrested, so I had an opportunity to change.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And lots of times, I've had women in the house have even contacted their arresting officer and thanked them for saving their life. Because sometimes jail does save your life. You know, a lot of parents, I'm sure you're watching, you know, and you're thinking, you know, well, you know, my kids are in jail, I need to get them out. You know, sometimes, and I'm not trying to be cold, but sometimes getting them out is not the answer. Trying to get them help and trying to find a different situation. And I know I've worked with our local judges. They will help. If you genuinely want to get help, they will find programs. They will help you get into some type of recovery program, detox. There's so many things to offer in today's society and in the substance use disorder world. I mean, there's so many things, there's so many pathways of recovery that people aren't aware of. And just knowing those, and I get phone calls, and you guys know it from the office. I mean, I want to help my daughter. You know, how can I help my son? How can I, you know, I'm raising my grandchildren. I'm, you know, you've raised almost 2 kids yourself. I mean, you know, from just trying to help people that were in, you know, in abusive or, you know, substance use disorder relationships and stuff, and it's hard. It is so hard, but it's something that is doable, and there's something that we can. I've always laughed and said I wanted an orphanage because I wanted all the kids to be able to have a safe place to live and, have fun and have dogs and cats and chickens and, and it sounds funny, but I mean, just to give them that lifestyle. Because there's lifestyles, it's not a dream world. It's definitely, something that kids want. All they want is their family. And when their family is high,
True.
and like your grandkids, you're raising your grandkids and what they've went through,
Yes.
by losing their
Parent.
parents at such an early age. How has it affected them?
Well, it's put them into understanding about addiction, and I shouldn't say that.
Right, it's fine.
Substance
It's
use.
fine.
They understand that because they lived it, and they saw what it was doing to their mother. My granddaughter has just done wonders with her life. She's really, really doing a good job. So it can just, sometimes it can take them in the wrong direction, and sometimes maybe, hopefully not, if they get the right message along the way.
The support.
Yes, the support.
Yeah.
And it is a suffering. It is a suffering. It's horrible for a parent to have to watch their child suffering, and it is a suffering. Mm-hmm. It is a suffering.
Absolutely, because people, and that's one thing that, and I'm just going, I know it's not politically correct to say addiction, but when they are in active addiction, they are suffering. I mean,
It is.
we look at them, as, well, if they cared, they wouldn't do this. It's not about caring. They've actually lost control of their life because so many people that I work with, they'll tell me, I just want my life back. I just want to get my life back. And when you look at it that way, it's a whole different, ball game. It's because we're thinking, well, they don't care about me. They don't care about their kids. They don't want to work. They don't want to do this. And sometimes it does start out that way, but by the time their physical, mental, social world is completely evolved around the substance use disorder, it's not their decision anymore. They're going to chase the drug. They're going to chase the lifestyle. Sometimes people like the lifestyle, because it's become so familiar to them that, like you were saying, as children, the children don't know any different. And we were talking about learned behaviors before we came down. The anger, the lashing out, the abuse, they learn that. And then we wonder why, when they get older, why do they act like that? That's what, the Bible says, train a child in the way he should go. And when he gets old, he won't depart. But how has he been trained? Mm-hmm. Has he been trained to, go to church, love the Lord, good morals, ethics, or has he been trained to lie, steal, cheat, hit on each, his brothers, sisters? I mean, so how have they been trained? So sometimes it's hard to instill. It's very confusing. It's very, and I know how you have suffered. Just when we talk about it and things at the House of Ruth. I mean, we have classes on it. It's like how to, boundaries. Getting by and just getting by ahead world, and there's just so many things. Codependency. I mean, there's intensive outpatient treatment, anger management, and look at the people that don't have that opportunity. It makes a big difference. And just like with you at, where you work and stuff, I mean, you get some people through, but what about everybody, that is, and insurance is a barrier sometimes, not having the right kind, being able to get into a place, transportation. We're working on different things with that to be able to get people to detox or recovery center when it's happening, and with COVID, the overdoses, the abuse, everything that, with the borders being open, they're talking about how much the fentanyl is even worsening. And it's an ongoing issue for sure.
Sure is.
For sure. But so Jasmine, what are you wanting to do now that?
I want to be a phlebotomist,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to enroll in classes for that. And hopefully I can do that next.
What do you see happening? What's some of your goals? I know you want to be a phlebotomist, but what's just some of the goals that you have met since you've been in recovery?
Well, I didn't think that I was going to get out of jail on drug court and stay sober, honestly. I was scared, and I thought it would only take time for me to relapse and go back to jail, because I had no faith in myself. But once you realize that there's actually people who care about you and actually want to help you succeed, it's a whole different ball game. So I didn't think I was going to make it 2 years clean. I didn't think I was going to get my daughter back. I didn't think I was going to have my own apartment or even own a vehicle again, but I did. And I also have been at my job for 2 years now, which is good, because I would have never dreamed I would have kept a job for that long. So, but
With saving money, bought a car.
I just bought another car. So now I have 2 vehicles. And I got to meet Miss Sharon, which was awesome.
Which you thought I didn't like you. We have a whole joke about that.
Yeah. So I've met a lot of people that I think I needed a bigger support system, and God placed people in my lives to help me and just have support.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. And your credit score?
yeah,
You've
I
been
almost
working
have
on it?
707
Yeah.
credit score, so that's
Yeah.
great.
So goals are possible.
Yeah.
And you're living proof of that. So absolutely. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I am. So what's some of the goals that you're going to do? Because I know you're working on college still.
Well, I'd like to eventually be a substance use counselor. I need to get my master's for that. I'd like to do some extra classes concentrating on addiction. So
You've really excelled in so many different areas, though, because I can, the girls just, she's easy to talk to, and you're always able and ready to help them, and that means a lot. That means a lot to these women, and I count it. When she got this job, I'm like, oh my God, that means she's not going to be coming to. I told her, I said, oh, Alicia. I mean, I was happy for her because I definitely want her to succeed, but you're such a part of the House of Ruth, and I'm just we're very fortunate to have you there. So I appreciate everything that you do. And, but, so have you been able to help any of your family and friends?
it's a lot harder when it's someone close to you. It's completely different than going out in the field and working. It's closer to your heart. You have to be really careful with your biases. It's easier to get angry. It's a lot easier to work with someone you don't know and help them and have compassion than help the person that you grew up with.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think it's better to refer it to someone else in that situation. If you're too close to the situation, sometimes maybe you need to get outside help.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that a lot, yeah, because I have people, family and friends that definitely, because you just want them to do so good that you're like, just do it. And it doesn't work that
When
way.
you know that's not the answer. Yeah.
Right, and yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like I know that they just can't do it, but you just want them to so bad. And like you said, you love them, and you know you can be a little biased like that. That's true, but it's understandable because you care for them so much. So tell me what you're going to do, Miss Kathy.
Well, I did get my recovery coach, and I want to continue with that and just continue helping girls, hopefully with you.
Absolutely, that's my plan.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm very blessed to have all these girls in my life, and you.
Absolutely. Yes, I tell people all the time. I said I biologically I only had 2 kids. And then when I married Russell, we got 4. But I said, I got a lot of kids, a lot of grandkids with all the women, because you get attached. I mean, they just become a part of your life. But there are groups, there are meetings, there are places that you can call that will help you. And anytime, I mean, our phone lines ring continuously. And if you ever need to call the House of Ruth or look us up on our webpage, it's houseofruthIN.org. And you can contact us if you have someone that wants to put in an application, and then just send it to the House of Ruth, or fill it out online and just email it to us. But there's a lot of different places. A lot of homes are opening now. There's different, there's so many more than what there used to be. So many more. So, and I know that insurance can be a barrier, but there's grants, there's things that we can help you with if we know what you need, but without reaching out and without asking for help, it's impossible, because lots of times people are not going to come up to you. But if you reach out, and we never, I really feel like we do not judge. I just don't feel like we do, because I am not perfect by no means, never claim to be, and I live a lot by experience, and I pray and ask the Lord for guidance, and I educate myself as much as possible to be able to help people. And if there's anything that I can do for you, your family, your children, I mean, we're Alicia, Kathy, Jasmine, we're starting to celebrate recovery. Her and I is doing a class together. So you can come and be a part of that. That's starting on October 27th at the Fellowship Hall at Growing Branches for Christ. That's another meeting. It'll be on Wednesday nights. And 5:30
to 8.
Yes, 5:30 to 6 is the meal. 6 to 7 is the worship and
then 7 to 8.
steps, and then 7 to 8 is small groups. So everyone is welcome, and it will start October 27th. So come and be a part of that. There's going to be all kinds of people there that you can talk with, resources. There's just going to be a lot. But we're going to kind of do this roundtable discussion for our next show also. And this will be airing the month of October. And then for the month of November, we would like to do a roundtable, because I feel like there's a lot of people that I'm going to have as guests that's going to be able to help you and encourage you and give you resources. But we want to thank you and thank our guests today for being here. God bless.